Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to talk about Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, and I'm going to give my take on it. And I liked the movie. I did. I liked the movie. I thought it was nice. I thought it was sweet, wholesome, if you will. However, what brought down the movie for me was sort of how everything fell into place. Even though she goes through some hardships in the movie, at the end, everything always works out. And I think that's the biggest, at least for me, that was the biggest downfall for the movie. And everything just worked out. And I'll give you a few examples. So when she decided, okay, I'm going to go to Paris and get a Christian Dior gown, she made a list of how much money she needed for the travel, how much she needed for the gown itself, right? So she needed the whole total. And so she has this job where she cleans people's apartments, houses. So she goes to different places. So at one point, she's saving her money, and she decides, to go to a dog race. At first, she was a little bit reluctant to do that, but then when she saw one of the race coming up, and it had a name of like Couture as one of the dog's names, she's like, "Okay, this is a sign. This is a sign." And so she made a bet and ended up losing, right? So then she was really disappointed. She was really angry at herself. She's like, "Oh, my Eddie, which was just her dead husband, would have been so disappointed in me," and it set her back from going to Paris. And but like the next day or the day afterwards, um, someone from I don't know, from England, from the military in England, um, came to her like, "Hey, you haven't been receiving your the widow pay from your dead husband," and so she got money from there. But then one of her friends who does the ticketing at the dog race, who took the money from her when she was doing when she made the bet, came to her place and said like, "Hey, look, you actually won." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Well, that money you gave me to put on this dog, I didn't put it on that dog. I put it on another dog, and the dog that won." And so she ended up making money, right? So things like that, right? She'll go through something. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm disappointed in myself," but then she comes up on top. And then it just happens throughout the film. When she goes to Paris, she can they're having a like sort of like a catwalk, but kind of an exclusive showing to clientele at the Christian Dior place, and she gets in. You know, there's a way that she gets in, and she's able to as they're trying to kick her out, and someone from that's going to go watch the show is like, "No, I'm inviting you as my personal guest to come watch it with me." So things like that, right? It's like everything's just falling into place, and I get it. I mean, it's what's going to drive the movie, but it just keeps happening over and over and over, where it's like, okay, nothing really bad is going to happen, and that's what it always seems like. Nothing's bad is going to happen, and the same thing. I mean, even with Kristen Dior, the she helps the the workers, with their jobs, and just a lot of things that happen. And even when she does get the gown, so she ends up getting the gown, not the gown that she wanted, but she gets a Dior gown, right? And she goes back to England. She goes back home, and she ends up lending the dress to one of the people that she works for, and that lady ends up ruining the dress, it catches on fire and it's just ruined, right? The gown is gone. And so she's like super just bummed out and depressed because she's like, oh, I never even got to wear it once. I didn't even get to enjoy it, and now it's ruined. Lo and behold, she gets a package from Christian Dior, and it's actually not the rep not an like the replica dress of the one she lost. It's the gown that she actually wanted in the first place. And it's this red one right here that you can see in the poster. That's the one she wanted in the beginning, but someone else ended up outbidding her, or they had priority, so they got that dress. So she got a different dress, but at the end, when because it was in the newspapers that the Christian Dior got destroyed, so they ended up sending her that dress right there, and so every single time it just works out. And I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's a very nice, sweet, wholesome movie, but when everything just works out for you for the character, it just kind of brings it down a little bit. And but overall, it's a good film. Check it out and see if you like it for yourself. Let me know what you think, and yeah, thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.